Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. It's just inevitable now that £50 million player will leave Arsenal after what Mikel Arteta has done. Aaron Ramsdale leaving Arsenal in the summer transfer window has been described as inevitable. The Gunners didn't do anything in January with respect to incomings, but they managed to keep hold of all of their big players. Ramsdale was one of them, even though he was linked with a move away from Arsenal. When Arsenal signed Aaron Ramsdale back in the summer of 2021, a large number of Gunners fans questioned Mikel Arteta's decision. Nobody really viewed the Englishman as someone who would take Arsenal to the next level, but Ramsdale became a fan favourite after he replaced Leno. The 25-year-old was absolutely unbelievable from that point until the end of last season. He started this campaign as the number one as well, but Arteta changed his mind after 4 games. The Gunners boss dropped Ramsdale for David Raya, and the England goalkeeper has barely played since. That has led to a ton of speculation about his future. The Athletic now claims that the 25-year-old's departure is inevitable in the summer, and the Gunners will need to sign a new goalkeeper to replace him then. Arteta would want Ramsdale to stay, but it's extremely unlikely that will happen unless he gets back into the starting lineup in the coming months. Arsenal signed Aaron Ramsdale for an initial £24 million. The Englishman improved massively under Mikel Arteta. He took his game to a whole new level and was the best goalkeeper in the Premier League last season. Even though Ramsdale will likely go through the next few months without playing, Arsenal should be able to command a good fee for him in the summer. Football Transfers previously suggested that they would sell him for £50 million. We think that's a fair fee for a goalkeeper of his quality, age, and experience. Arsenal may sell their underrated £35 million player this summer because of financial fair play. Arsenal may sell two of their academy graduates this summer because of financial fair play regulations, adding Nketiah and Reiss Nelson. The January transfer window was a quiet one for the Gunners. They didn't sign a single player as they just couldn't get anyone in while being on the right side of FFP and the Profit and Sustainability Rules (PSR). That could remain a slight problem for Arsenal in the summer as well. PSR and FFP regulations have made it very difficult for clubs to spend big recently. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta would have definitely loved to strengthen his squad in the winter window, but his side just couldn't free up funds to make a big addition. One of the reasons for that is the Gunners' big expenditure last summer. They spent over £200 million at the start of the campaign and recouped less than a third of it through sales. In the upcoming summer window, Arsenal are expected to be active and to be in a better position concerning FFP and PSR. They may sell two of their home ground talents. That's according to The Athletic, who claimed that Nketiah could be sold, as could Reiss Nelson, who also came through the ranks at tail end. Selling academy graduates like Nketiah would put Arsenal in a really strong position, as any revenue they get from those sales will be viewed as a pure profit on the books. Player sales have been a big issue for Arsenal over the years. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Alex Iwobi and Folarin Balogun are the Gunners' three biggest sales in history, but the sad thing is that the combined total adds up to just £109 million. Nketiah will not generate a fortune either, but the underrated Englishman is reportedly valued at somewhere between £30 million and £35 million, according to Ben Jacobs. That money would help Arsenal in their pursuit of an elite striker for next season. Arsenal set to complete Defender's contract renewal agreement. Arsenal are reportedly one step away from agreeing a contract extension with defender Takahiro Tomiyasu. That's according to a recent report from leading transfer expert and Out of Sight columnist Fabrizio Romano, who claims the Japan international is next in line for a new deal with the Gunners. After crashing out of the Asian Cup at the quarter-final stage after suffering a narrow 2-1 defeat against Iran this weekend. Tomiyasu will now return to London for the remainder of the domestic season. And in news, the 25-year-old is on the verge of committing his long-term future to the club, will serve as a huge boost to Mikel Arteta, who is clearly building a solid team that can compete for years to come. Since joining from Italian side Bologna nearly 3 years ago, Tomiyasu, who has 40 international caps to his name, has scored 1 goal and registered 6 assists in 73 games in all competitions. The fullback, who is valued at around £30 million, currently has a deal that runs until 2025. Arsenal make decision to sell underperforming midfielder. Arsenal have reportedly decided to try and cash in on Albert Sambi Lokonga. That's according to a recent report from Football Insider, who claimed that the Belgian midfielder has no future at the Emirates. Despite joining a newly promoted Luton Town on loan for the season, Lokonga, 24, has managed just 8 Premier League starts after failing to impress manager Rob Edwards, and unlikely to be wanted permanently by the Hatters at the season's end. It seems the 24-year-old is facing an uncertain future. Being made surplus to requirements by Mikel Arteta is set to force the defensive midfielder out of the club. There is no denying it. The former Anderlecht starlet has failed to live up to expectations following his €17.5 million in 2021. The likes of Thomas Partey, Jorginho, and Marcus Hammer signing Declan Rice are all way ahead of Lokonga in Arteta's pecking order, so seeing the Belgian move on would be far from surprising. However, the midfielder's biggest hurdle is likely to be convincing another club to take a gamble on him, especially considering he can't string a run of games together for Luton. Recently, he's been putting a good performance. Let's see if he can continue. Since joining the Gunners 2.5 years ago, Lokonga, whose deal runs until 2026, has failed to score or assist in 39 games in all competitions. BBC Pundit says Arsenal have a player who is beginning to catch fire. Arsenal are well in the title race, but there has been a feeling this season that the Gunners have gone backwards. We can't quite put our fingers on why, but Arsenal aren't as fluid or as exciting as they were last season. The North London club haven't been firing on all cylinders this season, but they have shown some signs of improvement as of late. Speaking on the BBC Radio 5 Live Football Daily podcast, Matt Harfis has been discussing Bukayo Saka's recent form, and he says that the winger looks set to be getting back to his best form now. He said, Jesus is back and scoring, that's huge for them. Saka as well, he was so influential in the way they played last season, and this season he is just starting to get into the form that we saw, so that's a huge positive for Arsenal. Matt is right, Saka has looked much better after the mini winter break, and that's huge for Arsenal. The Gunners have been way too blunt in the attack over the past few weeks, but Saka's return to form has reignited Arsenal's front line. On his day, Saka is unplayable, but over the past few months, those performances haven't been seen often enough. However, he is showing signs of improvement over the past 2 weeks, and if he can find a way to play to his full capabilities against Liverpool today, he could well be the difference maker for Arsenal once again. Saka is just starting to get into his groove, and that's a frightening prospect for the rest of the Premier League. Arsenal to compete with Barcelona for €60 million rated a priority target. Arsenal are keen on signing the Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi at the end of the season. A report from the Mirror claims that the 24-year-old La Liga star is one of their top targets, and they are hoping to sign him during the summer transfer window. Arsenal need to bring in a quality replacement for Thomas Partey, who has been linked with an exit in recent months. The Ghana international will need to be replaced adequately, and Zubimendi certainly has the quality to succeed in the Premier League. The midfielder has a €60 million release clause in his contract, according to a report from The Athletic. it's fair to assume that Arsenal will have to pay up if they want to secure his services. Real Sociedad will not want to sell him for cheap. The Gunners will face competition from clubs like Barcelona and Bayern München. The report from Mirror claims that both clubs are keen on signing the player and they have already taken initial steps regarding a potential move. The 24-year-old La Liga midfielder is an expert when it comes to holding onto the ball, recycling possession, and controlling the tempo of the game. He could be the ideal partner for Declan Rice at the heart of Arsenal's midfield. Zubimendi has the technical attributes to do well at a big club, and he could improve the likes of Arsenal, Barcelona, and Bayern. All three clubs have the financial resources to pay the reported release clause, and it will be interesting to see where the midfielder ends up. Arsenal to compete with Chelsea for attacker with 11 goal contributions this season. Arsenal have been linked with a move for the Napoli striker Victor Osimhen. A report from the Mirror claims that Arsenal will look to rival Chelsea for the Napoli striker at the end of the season. The Nigerian international is expected to be on the move this summer, and he has been linked with a move to the Premier League. Chelsea are reportedly leading the race to secure his services, and the Gunners are prepared to battle it out for his signature. Both London clubs could use a quality striker, and the 25-year-old is certainly one of the best in the world. Osimhen helped Napoli win the league title last season, and he managed to score goals consistently. He has picked up 8 goals and 3 assists across all competitions this season. Arsenal currently have Gabriel Jesus leading the line for them. While the Brazilian is an impressive player, he has scored 4 goals in the Premier League, and the Gunners need a more reliable goal scorer in order to win major trophies. Osimhen could prove to be a major upgrade on Jesus, and he could transform Arsenal in the final third. Meanwhile, Chelsea signed Nicholas Jackson to solve their goal-scoring problems at the start of the season, but the former La Liga forward has not been able to live up to the expectations. Chelsea will have to invest in a quality striker as well. The Napoli striker reportedly has a release clause of around 100 to 110 million pound, and it will be interesting to see if Arsenal and Chelsea are willing to pay that kind of money in the summer. Jack Wilshire applies for first senior management job. Former Arsenal midfielder Jack Wilshire has reportedly applied for his first role in senior management. After being plagued with injuries and fitness issues, Wilshire, 32, called time on his playing career in July 2022. However, after showing a keen interest in the art of management, the 32-year-old was given the chance to manage Arsenal's under-18s just 4 days after his retirement announcement, and seemingly doing a decent job with the Londoners' young guns. Wilshire, who has averaged nearly 2 points per game since taking charge, is now looking to make the step up to senior level management. The Dons, who finished third in the Scottish Premiership last season, parted ways with Barry Robson earlier this week after slipping to 8th in the table, and Wilshire believes he is the right man to guide them back up to the table. The former midfielder's lack of experience at this level may hinder his chances of being appointed, though, especially with former Celtic boss Neil Lennon and veteran Neil Warnock also linked with the role. Nevertheless, with the speculation, the 32-year-old is looking to take the next step in his career beginning to mount. Arsenal will probably be preparing to bid farewell to their youth boss sooner rather than later. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.